Hi everybody. This video is going to be a little more serious than usual. I'd like to share my thoughts on something that happened to me the other day. Basically, someone asked me, "Are you pure Japanese?" My answer was pretty honest and straightforward. I replied, "I don't really feel comfortable with the word pure here." You might comment, "Oh, come on, don't take it like that. You understood the meaning of the question, didn't you?" I did, but still, think about it. Because both of my parents are not Japanese, does that mean I'm not pure? So how should I call myself? Impure? Bastard? Even if the analogy with Jon Snow is pretty appealing, I would not particularly like that. There are other ways to ask, like, are you 100% or full Japanese? Not to mention that plenty of studies show that most of us have a multitude of genealogical roots. Now everyone knows that words can be hurtful, sometimes even more than physical pain. One starts with the word pure, and then race, and there you have it, pure races, and the next step is to compare which one is better than the others. And I get why people would do that, because we already do it with animals. But I feel like it's one of the biggest issues in the world today. In Japan, people like me are just called half, which I personally find demeaning. But the worst part is that a lot of us are getting bullied because of that. More recently, the delightful Miss Japan Ariana Miyamoto received a lot of irritating comments such as, "She doesn't represent Japan because she's not pure Japanese." And here we go again. To counter that, some of us decided to see their situation as a strength rather than a weakness and started calling themselves double instead. I like that spirit. If you want to learn more about this topic, check out the movie Hafu, the mixed race experience in Japan, directed by Megumi Nishikura. In Western countries, an Asian man like me is usually not considered attractive. That brings me to another comment I received on social media, which was, "I don't understand how women can be attracted by Asian men." This phenomenon is called sexual racism, and to understand it better, I recommend watching the YouTube video Weird History of Asian Sex Stereotypes by MTV News. Now, for those of you who are not Asian or half Asian, you might not understand how it feels to be treated that way. The same way that as a man, I would never be able to understand how difficult it must be for women to live in this male-dominated society. But I'd like to believe that as human beings, we're all naturally compassionate. And I strongly stand against any kind of bullying or harassment. So if we can prevent this sort of behavior by being mindful of what we say, maybe we can make this society a little better. Now, I'm not trying to lecture or judge anyone, and I'm absolutely not advocating censorship. We're all entitled to our freedom of thoughts and freedom of speech, but that's how I feel about it, and I'm glad you took the time to listen to me. Alright, take care.